The voice?
All right, Sherry, you ready to get going?
I'm ready.
All right. You want to mute everybody?
Yeah, everyone's muted.
Okay, perfect. All right, I think we're ready to rock.
Oh, John, you got to unmute yourself again because it just hit mute all.
All right, take two. All right, welcome to our Sunday night training, everybody. My name is John Brooks. I'm a Pro 6 out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And tonight I'm going to talk about resolving concerns and objections. And my co-presenter, Shira Litwack from Toronto, Canada, is going to talk about gut health and oxidative stress. Well, I found that, every step along the way from the very beginning to closing the deal with LifeVantage is really, really important. And especially resolving concerns and objections is a really, really important thing. And so after the prospect has seen the ABC primetime or a presentation, we start right in. And I ask them, I say, what did you like best about what you heard? And it's really important at this point to ask a lot of questions. Another thing that I'll say too is, are you ready to get this started into your health regimen for your family? Do you see yourself getting involved as a business partner, as a business owner to start changing your life financially as a distributor? Do you see yourself as a consumer using our products? Or door number three, maybe you're not interested at all. And so what happens is now at this point, you have to become a fantastic listener. This is your time. And it really comes down to the prospect. It usually comes down to two things. The prospect's asking themselves, is this real? And is this something that I can really do? Okay. Objections are questions to test your belief and conviction. And right now, this is your chance to show your future business partner that you can guide them through the minefield of questions and objections and help them, get some resolution to those objections. And so the next step, what I do is I say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 10 getting ready to start right now, where are you at? Okay. And a lot of times the lower the number could be multiple objections, multiple questions, multiple concerns that they're not comfortable with yet. And so what I say is I'll say, okay, what would it take to get you from that number 6 up to a 10 to get started? Okay. I really kind of peel the onion and try to ask them questions. And I'll say, what are you not comfortable about? What are some things that you don't maybe understand? What's making you hesitate? And so now's the time to really try to pull those out. And I found over the years, there's kind of a core set of objections that come out. And so tonight I'm going to run through, for the time I have, I'm going to run through a bunch of them tonight just to give you some perspective on how to handle that when you're processing at this point with your prospect. All right, the first one. I'm a really busy person. I just do not have time to do this. I've got my full-time job and my wife works. I just can't do this. Okay, and so what I will do is I'll say, isn't it your goal to maybe have more time with your family, more time to do some things in life? And the other thing I'll do is I'll say, let's look at your present situation with your present job, present occupation. Are you going to be able to work less at your job and still make the same amount of money down the road? And it kind of gets them thinking. It's like, really, if I want some change in my life, then I kind of have to do some changing in my life to have that happen in a different way. And at this point, it's really good to pull in feel, felt, found. And if you've ever used feel, felt, found before, you got to do it so it doesn't sound canned or scripted. So kind of how I say it is, hey, I know exactly how you feel. When I was at that point where you're at right now, I felt the same way. And after I talked to some people and I learned some more, I found out that this is a real portable business. It's a very flexible business. I could work it in with what I'm doing with my present income, my present situation, and it's not a big deal. Another thing you could do at this point is you could bring in third-party validation, and that's awesome because that's another positive voice coming in saying, yeah, when I first took a look at this too, we were really busy as well, but we found out that we could work this in and work it in the nooks and crannies of our life. And honestly, when I show the business, I look for the busiest people because the busiest people are already successful or they're trying to find the right financial vehicle. So That's a great way to handle that. Next one, I hate network marketing. Okay, and this one will come up because so many people maybe have been in another network marketing company. And I give them my personal example. I was in another network marketing company a year out of college. And I mean, that person may have really gone through some different things in another company, and they're kind of thinking that the same things are going to be with this company. And so one of the things I tell them is like, when I was in this other company, I built it to about a Pro 5 equivalent, compared to our company. And I had to drive 30 minutes one way each week to pick up have a big vehicle to pick up a bunch of products. And then guess what? I brought them to my house, and then a bunch of my folks had to come to my house to get the products. And, and so you really have to ask questions because, your prospect may have been in another company, may have had to go through some of that stuff, and they're thinking, yuck, I don't want to have to go through that again. So let them know what we have is a lot different, okay? The other thing that I like to do there is bring in credibility of the company. Talk about all the outside things that are happening looking in at LifeVantage. Like, Ray Dalio, the guy that founded the largest hedge fund in the world, about 2% of our stock recently. I mean, instant credibility. Aaron Brockovich, an advocate for companies doing the right thing, is on our board of directors. We got added to the Russell 3000 index. We're before Momentum. We're publicly traded. There's huge credibility that you just bring in to reinforce that for that objection. Next one. Hey, I am just tapped. I cannot afford to get in this. I just don't have the money to do this. A great way to do that is just talk to them. This is a really creative way that you can help your prospect realize that there's a lot of different quick fixes that you can do this. Greg Deeker sold his tree in his front yard. I mean, you can pre-sell the contents of your distributor pack. You can lock arms with that prospect and say, hey, let's go out and show some people. And by the time your credit card bill comes on the credit, we'll have 3 people involved. We'll get some, we'll have your ROI done already. So there's a lot of different things you can do. And also tell them too that, hey, if you're looking at, this business can help you, you can be very, very successful. Show them the earnings claim statement and say, hey, just look at Pro 7. I mean, it's 6 figures, next 2 to 5 years. Wouldn't it be worth to find some creative ways to get involved? Okay. So next one, I just don't know anybody. I just don't know a lot of people. And what I love to do with that is the average person knows at least 500 people. And the thing I like doing best with this is I like pulling out their phone and looking at their contacts. And usually they have quite a few contacts, and they may have a phone full of people they don't know. And so what I do is I get really excited and I'll say, hey, look at what we have to start with already. By the time we process these, you're going to probably have some great people in your business because this is a numbers game. It's processing the people and really saying they don't know anybody. We have other ways to deal with that objection too. I mean, there's billions of people in the world. If you pull out that memory jogger that's in your blueprint, that's a great tool. It helps people think of maybe different professions or different people. And the other thing is, oh my gosh, social media. You can meet, if you don't know, if you lived under a rock your whole life and you've never met anybody, we can teach you how to meet people every single day on social media. So that one's a real easy one to work with. Next one. I got this one about a week ago. All network marketing companies are the same. Just the people at the top make the money, okay? What I love to do with this one is I'll pull out our earnings claim statement, and the earnings claim statement is just a godsend. It's a great tool being publicly traded. We have to publish this document that shows what the average monthly income is of the ranks of the distributors. So I'll pull that out and I'll show them that at all the ranks what the average monthly income is. And then what I like to do is I'll say, all right, look it, you got the Pro 10s down here. They're doing very well and they earned every dime of that. That's great. But let's look up to where most of the company is paying the money out. It's in the beginning and middle ranks of the company. So it just shows that, guess what? You don't have to wait forever to build a gigantuous team before you start making money. You make money right away in this company. Immediate money, especially with the Smart Start bonuses. And so the earnings claim statement is an awesome tool for that objection. Next one, I'm just not a salesperson. Well, that's a good thing because these crazy salespeople like me, we kind of have to maybe get slapped up a little bit because people don't want to be they don't want to be pushed into sales. You know, if you go into a store and the minute you walk in there, three salespeople come up and start trying to steer you into buying something that you didn't even have time to look for in the store yet. It's like, you know, I just don't like to be pressured. People love to buy, but they don't like to be sold, okay? And so in this business, we become professional storytellers and professional problem solvers. We spend the time to find out what their people's pain is, what they don't have in their life, and then we get a game plan and help them do it. So it's a lot different than trying to talk them into something and high pressuring people. Next one. All right. My doctor, I have to have my doctor's approval before I take any of these products. All right. You know, a lot of times people will go to Walgreens or CVS and they buy something, and as soon as they're home, it's down the hatch and they didn't call anybody. They just, you know, started taking the product. Talk about our peer-reviewed studies and let them know that peer-reviewed is like the top of the mountaintop for credibility for a study. In fact, only 5 to 10% of any study even makes it through the scrutinized peer review process. And to have 26, 27 peer-reviewed studies is completely off the charts and really an anomaly in our industry, okay? And so if they say, well, I still really want to talk to my doctor about this, and I'll say, great, okay? Ask your doctor if lowering your oxidative stress is a good thing, okay? And if the doctor says yes, then you have your validation. If the doctor does not know about, doesn't know about that, ask him also if he knows about what the NRF2 pathway is. If he doesn't know what that is, realize that we are so early in the infancy of this technology that a lot of doctors don't know what NRF2 is and they don't understand what we have. So, I have such massive respect for doctors, so all the years of education they have to treat and help people, but they may not know about it yet. So talk about lowering their oxidative stress and lean on the studies. Next one, I read some negative things on the internet, okay? Well, guess what? Any company out there has probably got negative things written about it. And what I do is try to steer that prospect to Google Scholar, which is a great tool. It cuts up the gobbledygook and goes right to whatever you're looking for. Go to PubMed, like I mentioned before. There's 27 studies published, 26, 27 studies published on our products. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. Direct them, let them know that being publicly traded, our financials are transparent. You can go and find out how the company's doing. That's a real comfort for me to know that, guess what, everything's in the open. If they fire someone, they have to do a press release. I like transparency. We've won a Stevie Award, which is, an international award for our products with a vitality stack. We're on the Russell 3000 index, which is a huge deal. Show them the earnings claim statement, like I mentioned earlier. Also, have them read the patents. If you can't get excited reading those patents, there's something wrong. All right, that's great credibility for us. The internet's really like the Wild West. Someone could be sitting in their underwear in their parents' basement writing a blog, and without any credentials or credibility. So direct that prospect to, very reputable sources and show them what we have. Next one, I really have a hang up about bothering my friends and family. Okay. Well, so do I, okay? And so what we do in this business, we really, like I say, we really address what is something we're gonna be problem solvers. We're gonna find out what their why is. And what I found that's really been helpful in my business is, we have a very portable business. And so if you really have your radar up, wherever you go, if you become a really good listener, people will identify themselves about health or wealth. If you're having lunch with someone, if you get together with someone, the conversation could go, oh man, I got a couple kids in college or a couple kids in high school getting ready for college. My spouse and I are wondering how in the heck we're going to do that. My husband's knee, his football injury from college is acting up again. And what I use is really kind of a common response to that. I'll say, hey, based on what you said, I've got something you want to take a look at. It might help. Well, they'll say, well, what is it? It's an ABC Primetime Investigative Report. So to answer that objection and concern, I would talk to them about really what they want and find out what, instead of trying to talk someone into something like I mentioned earlier, find out what they want and show them what we have, okay? Next one. Hey, before I become a distributor, I really want to try the product first to see if it works, okay? most health issues take years and many times decades to develop in your body, okay? And so to get someone on our products for a month or so and think that's, everybody's physiology is different. Some people are going to feel things right away. Some people won't, okay? And so what I do is I lean on the studies, the human study we have with the T-bar study that says oxidative stress, with oxidative stress, that Protandim is proven to reduce it by 40% in 30 days. No other product on the planet can say that and prove it in a human study. So what I do is I lean on the studies and I let them know that, a good rule of thumb would be to take the product for 6 months. That gives you a good chance because you can't quick fix something that's been developing for years and years and years. Okay, next one. It seems like a pyramid scheme, all right? Don't tell them you're going to be the pharaoh. They might laugh, but if you go to YouTube, there's a really cool video that says, I still think it's a pyramid scheme. It's an animated video. You'll laugh. It's a great one to use. I looked in the dictionary of what a pyramid scheme is, and this is really good. It's a form of investment, illegal in the US, in which each paying participant recruits two further participants with returns given to the early participants using money contributed by the later ones. Okay, so just like the guy at the back of the line pays the guy at the front of the line, there's no product involved, there's no sale of goods, it's just recruiting. And like I said, we're a publicly traded company. We're on the NASDAQ. It's the SEC would say something about a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme. So, let people explain to people really what a pyramid scheme is, and what we have is something polar different. Okay. And also use credibility. Warren Buffett, who is a pretty famous investor, owns a network marketing company. All right, next one. I already take vitamins and supplements. Why should I take these products? All right. Talk to them about our technology. Talk to them about, oxidative stress and the NRF2 pathway, and realize that, 1 to 1 and 1,000,000 to 1 is a big, big gap. All right. Making your own antioxidants is much more efficient, much safer, and really where health and science is going in the future. So explain our technology and explain that it's a total game changer with what we have. More powerful to make your own antioxidants than anything you can consume or take in. Okay, next one. My spouse is not supportive. I don't know if I can do this because my spouse is not aboard. All right. What I tell my prospect when that one comes up, I'll say, here's what you do. You sit down and have a team meeting with your spouse, and you write a list of things that your goals for this business, okay? Say, hey, is our retirement where we want it? Are we having as much free time as we want? If something happened to you or me, a residual income would be really cool to come in to take care of you if one of us, got into an accident or got disabled or something. Think of all those reasons and explain to them it's not just something else to do, but it's a game changer. It's something that can really bless your family. Next one, if this is so good, how come I haven't heard of this before? Well, that's why you see a lot of us bouncing off the walls, because we are first, okay? The Direct Sales Association says the first 135,000 distributors in a network marketing company per country is considered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you take all of our foreign markets and the US and Canada and put them all together, we're still under that 135, okay? So if you can't get excited about that, there's no hope, because that is something absolutely amazing, and you can give them some perspective. Talk about what happened to Nu Skin when Nu Skin hit momentum, which we are before right now. 500 millionaires were created in that company. So being first is a really, really lucky thing and a very fortunate thing. So that's how I handle that one. Next one, I can already get these products on eBay and Amazon. Why should I order from you? Okay. Rule of thumb, okay, never take a chance on ingesting anything you buy on the internet. As far as Amazon or eBay, it could be, I've heard tons of stories. In fact, people on my own team, people have bought, people that they had for prospects bought product on eBay and Amazon, and it was counterfeit product. They got deathly ill. There's been, like I said, counterfeit product. People could have the distributor pack or the product sitting in a hot trunk for a couple of years, or the frozen tundra of South Dakota for a couple of years, and the product is not good anymore. So, and they're going to unload it on eBay or Amazon. Never do that. Okay, number one, if you ever sell product on eBay or Amazon, you're terminated from the company. Not a good idea. And secondly, you want to be safe. Okay, take care of your family, take care of yourself, only buy from reputable distributors, by actual distributors of LifeVantage. And the last one, I am not sick. Why should I buy these products? I feel really good. I'm healthy. I mean, why should I buy these? Okay. What I love to do on this one is pull out the Washington State Nerve 2 study, that says that Nerve 2 may be the most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. Okay, that really sums it up good. So with that, I am going to turn it over to my co-presenter from Toronto, Canada, Shira Litwack, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about her bio here. Shira has worked in chronic care recovery for over 30 years. At the center of her work is our cell being, the focus on how all of our daily choices impact our cellular health, and our epigenetic destiny is far greater impact than the genetics that we got from mom and papa. Shira fully admits that she's a science and tech geek, having read thousands of scientific studies over the last 30 years. She hosts a podcast for researchers to bring their research to the public, is frequently interviewed by the media. She's been on Sirius XM radio. She's spoken in over 5 countries personally and many more virtually on oxidative stress and chronic disease. She has designed chronic illness recovery programs for hundreds of thousands of people in countries who are less fortunate accessing medical care than here in North America, and implements health technology platforms providing lower costs, better health care in the US, and she's contributed to over 100 blogs online. So with that, Shira, take it away.
Thank you so much, John. By the way, I loved your session. It was very good. I got a lot of great ideas, so thank you. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to talk about oxidative stress in our guts. And the reason I want to do that is I find that most people don't quite kind of get how important our gastrointestinal tract is and how much of our entire health, mental and physical, is controlled through our gut. Now, a little bit of a spoiler alert here is to let you know the last slide here is what I like to do is integrate the entire stack. So yes, of course, Nerve 1 and Nerve 2 are incredibly important for reduction of oxidative stress. But what I like to show is equally as important are the probiotic and the omega-3, especially in terms of reducing oxidative stress in the gut. So, okay, why is it not doing this? It's giving me a hard time. Of course. Okay, there we go. All right, so first of all, what does our gut do? And that's really what we want to take a look at first, okay? It breaks down food into nutrients, and it mixes and it turns and all that, which we expect from our gut, okay? It's also responsible for absorption. So in other words, if we're not absorbing properly, we have a problem. So you know that old expression, we are what we eat? Well, we're not just what we eat, we are what we eat, digest, and absorb. Immune function. It's hard to believe, but our stomach is really step one of the immune system. So much comes from, and the way our stomach protects us from our environment, the hydrochloric acid, which is why it kills me that people take so many antacids, how it destroys toxins that come into our body. So it's very, very important. So the production of hydrochloric acid and our digestive enzymes. It's also known as our second brain, our belly brain, or otherwise known as our enteric nervous system. And it's also very much responsible for our metabolic function. It's kind of hard to believe, but a lot of diabetes and obesity, they're metabolic issues, and it comes from dysfunction within the gastrointestinal tract. And again, you know, Hippocrates, he was just a couple of years ago, obviously many years ago, he had an expression that said, all diseases begin in the gut. And he was absolutely right. If you look at some of the diseases that happen because people have had gastric bypass surgery. Now, I'm not talking all of the other things like stomach stapling. I'm talking the old-fashioned gastric bypass where they took a chunk of the stomach out. That's one of the ways we've learned, including alcoholism, how important the stomach is. Because when we just take half of it out, we have a number of issues that arise from it. And the little thing here, serotonin and dopamine, yeah, they're produced in the gut. It was thought for many, many years that they're all produced in the brain. But about 25 years ago, we realized that no, most of those are done in the gut. So much of our mental health as well is coming from our gut function. So it's really, really important, you know, that we optimize our gut function. I'm sorry, it's just giving me a hard time, but I want to switch slides here. I'm gonna have to go here. Okay, just a second. I'm just going to have to stop the share for a second. Okay. Let's go here. Okay, sorry about that, technical difficulties. Okay. So again, looking at, I'm just going to do it this way, so I hope everyone can still see really well. So what does oxidative stress do to our gut? We have a barrier inside our gut, the gastrointestinal mucosal barrier. And what that does is it keeps, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's the same thing for our gastrointestinal tract. It keeps the hydrochloric acid, it keeps everything where it needs to be. And this little diagram here, sure, there's many causes of oxidative stress, as we know, but these are ones that are more directly related to the gut. So what it does, again, is that barrier helps keep things where they belong. Now, we've often heard of a disease called leaky gut syndrome. Well, this is exactly what leaky gut syndrome is there's a mucosal permeability that is not supposed to be there. And that is at the root of many diseases, including, I guess, ones that are a little bit more obvious, like Crohn's, colitis, IBD, ulcers, autoimmune issues, cancers, and many metabolic issues, as I mentioned before, including obesity and diabetes. So if we take it here, okay, the worst oxidative stressor, and I have it in the little paragraph at the bottom, and you know, I'll happily send anyone the slide deck who wants it afterwards, okay? But the worst oxidative stressor of all is alcohol, and if you want to read the details, by all means, go ahead. But what does oxidative stress do in the gut? Well, as we said before, it breaks down the mucosal lining. It reduces folate. We've all heard of folate before, which is really important for the production of our gut bacteria. Folate is essential for DNA synthesis, and reduced folate is thought to play a significant role in colorectal cancers, especially, but in many other. And we know folate is very, very, very important for our health for many other reasons. Okay. Also, we find that oxidative stress destroys the microbiota. That's the bacteria that lives in our guts. We have a little war that goes on in our gut between the good guys and the bad guys. So really what happens is it kind of really destroys the good guys. Malnutrition, sure. Well, if we're destroying all of our enzymes and everything, we can't digest our food properly, and we're going to have a problem with malnutrition. Fatty liver, that's a huge one, a little bit too complicated to go into now. But again, fatty liver can be both from alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Oxidative stress in the gut destroys the gut bacteria, is very much a hot topic of research right now in people not responding to cancer treatments. They're finding that for people to really work well with cancer treatments, a lot of that is dependent on their good gut bacteria. And destruction of the microbiota is detrimental to the gut-brain axis, as I mentioned, where it's known as our second brain, our belly brain, the enteric nervous system. There's a connection that goes on between the gastrointestinal tract, the enteric nervous system, and the central nervous system. And again, that's huge in terms of disease, is that signaling takes place properly. And unfortunately, when it's destroyed by oxidative stress, we don't have good signaling that goes on between the two. And again here, okay, how do we deal with the oxidative stress? Well, we've all heard of these things before, okay? Glutathione, catalase, SOD, these are the antioxidant defense systems of the gut. So this is what I wanted to get to. Please excuse the brevity here. It's a massive topic of millions of PhDs out there. But really the whole idea is if we want to reduce properly oxidative stress in the gut, the entire stack has a role in it, okay? We all know, excuse my little funny there, the utmost respect, because it really is very important. We all know that we take probiotics for our stomach, but it's really important that we have a good probiotic. We talked about just now the many functions of our good bacteria. Okay, well, ours has a way of actually making it to where it needs to be in the intestines, not that the stomach acid destroys it first, which is why we don't have to have billions and billions and billions of colonies. And I laugh because people spend billions and billions of dollars on these probiotics, but it doesn't matter how many we have, because if it's going to be destroyed by the stomach acid, but that's not the case. It's proven with ours that over 60% of it at least has a good survival rate to make it where it needs to be. And that is very, very important amongst many reasons for having the good gut bacteria, for many of the reasons we discussed, to improve the gut-brain axis. And the other thing, fascinating studies out there. Omega-3 studies show that the omega-3s contribute to healthy bacteria diversity. So you need a number of different of good healthy gut bacteria, and omega-3s now are being shown to give us absolutely the very best combination of healthy bacteria. And these good bacteria introduced by the omega-3s are being very well respected as the ones that are more aggressive at fighting oxidative stress and inflammation. So again, please excuse the brevity here, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview at just how important our entire stack is in terms of helping our gut health. And our gut health is literally, as Hippocrates said, all diseases begin from the gut. So when we protect our gut, we are protecting the function of our entire body. Whew, I did that fast. You there, John?
All right, Shara, that was amazing. Thanks, thanks for presenting tonight. If anybody has any questions, please get back to the person that invited you on. And thanks for spending some time on our training tonight. And have a fantastic evening.